Jay Tholen is an independent musician and developer. From his own website, his goal as a creator is to create games that are uplifting or edifying in some way. He's not opposed to violent games, but for his own peace, there must be something in what he creates that can possibly help the people who enjoy it. Having read this and having played his first game, Dropsy, I realized that indeed there was something in his game that helped me. The game, in which you play as an affable yet creepy looking clown, had a positive and uplifting message that was about not conforming to a cynical world, about being true to your own enthusiasm to spread love and to stay strong to that enthusiasm in the face of misunderstanding. Considering this, I wanted to provide an unconventional lens when reviewing Jay's latest title, Hypnospace Outlaw, since he's proved himself before, testing yet again his claim that his games are trying to help us understand life a little better and help us in some way. Taking place in an alternate reality of 1999 where the internet is accessed while you sleep, Hypnospace Outlaw is similar to games such as Nina Freeman's Sybil or Sam Barlow's Her Story, in which the gameplay centers around exploring a relic of computer simulation. What differentiates Jay's efforts in this regard is that there's an ambition to recreate facets of the infantile internet that were commonly found in the late 90s. You play as a member of the Hypnospace Patrol Department and are tasked with moderating a new and bustling global digital community space. You are awarded with HypnoCoin, the in-game currency, to report various infractions to guidelines that are within the platform, whether that be tracking down content infringement, graphic violence, or even malicious software. There's a lot of freedom that the player has while playing Internet Detective in this nostalgic representation of the net, and the feeling of power that you get from being a moderator is delicious, and I do mean delicious. There's also a level of involvement Hypnospace Outlaw asks of the player, which makes the gameplay feel continuously fresh and engaging. In order to find various offenders of the content guidelines, you sometimes have to actively download programs in order for pop-ups to occur that you can then report, or even gain the trust of individuals by spending your own money to utilize their services which aren't in line with ground rules. This added depth keeps the game from becoming boring past its gimmicks, and it's challenging enough to keep someone interested in a full 6 to 10 hour playthrough. The game also seems designed to distract you in a good way from the tasks at hand, making you fall into comprehensively constructed web pages and communities such as those that are surrounding conspiracies or even religion. I say seems because this is just echoing my own experience while being on the internet, so it may or may not be fully intended by the developers. Aesthetically, the game is very much attempting to ape on the era that it's representing, with tacky colors, crude animations, and low-quality video all contributing to an effective realism towards an experience that's long impossible to preserve. Every single web page has a level of detail that is representing this generation of digital communications with affection. If you want to see the team's methods, they provided some overviews on Jay's channel, which are pretty comprehensive. As well, another great deal of realism also comes from the efforts made towards characterization, with every outcast behind a niche fan site on horror films, teenager expressing their aggression with violent comics, or even bikers having fleshed out backstories that make them feel as if they're based on real people. This also extends to being one of the more unique statements that the game has, highlighting how helpful expression can sometimes be on the internet. Another strong part of Hypnospace Outlaw is the humor. With games like this, it's easy to fall into simply adding memes and various references as an excuse for well-constructed jokes. Surprisingly, Hypnospace Outlaw doesn't do that, despite having a platform to easily fall back on and make that a passable facet. With hilariously campy music that is meticulously produced, representations on the ridiculousness of the internet demographic in the 90s, and without any spoilers, the whimsically bleak satirical factors of those behind Hypnospace, there's a smarter palette of jokes than you'd expect. So that brings us to the following. Obviously, the game is worth your time, but apart from the aesthetic, humor, and gameplay, what is Jay and his team doing with this latest game to help people? Obviously, the potential for what it's trying to say is broad, as there isn't a specific definition as to how the internet affects our lives, and more importantly, how it conditions us. Yet, the payoff to this potential most effectively comes in how the game showcases the singular person behind interactions on the internet. Obviously, I wouldn't feel comfortable giving away the game's biggest surprises, but hopefully I can speak to thematics. It's evident after finishing this game that it was made by people who are accepting of the flaws that we all have as human beings, that are then accentuated on a digital landscape landscape, that even the nastiest people online are a victim of a bigger problem that isn't their own fault. That despite inherently having a lot to say about how we could have been better in the 90s and even today in regards to the internet, Hypnospace Outlaw also celebrates each individual of the internet in a way that I wasn't prepared for thanks to my own cynicism, providing an optimistic and powerful message about our interconnected computerized commonwealth, simply known as the internet. Hey everybody, this is Dan Thompson here. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still not entirely convinced on Hypnospace Outlaw, I did a Let's Play, which is about the first 4 hours of the game that I played, whittled down to about an hour and 10 minutes. I'm incredibly stupid and very bad at video games, so that's why a lot of it is cut down, because most of it is just me aimlessly wandering around trying to figure out what to do. As well, guys, I did a video on Devotion, which hit headlines that you probably read, in which it was criticizing Chinese President Xi Jinping for looking like Winnie the Pooh. There's a lot more depth and layers to that game, so I would definitely suggest checking out if that interests you. Lastly, I do want to thank all my patrons who are currently backing me on Patreon, and a big thank you to Mega Monse, who is this month's producer. Make sure you check out her Instagram in the description below, as she is one of the main reasons why I am still uploading at this point. So again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.